Getting Things Done. I don't have time. I'll get to it when this project is completed. I'll try. Who has time for that? No doubt you've heard all of these comments about time and have probably uttered them yourself when the pressure was on. While we all experience the occasional crush, many of our problems with time can be addressed by making a serious study of time management. In this segment, you'll get a good start toward being more productive, taking control of your day, and taking control of your life. We'll also take a look at the problem-solving process as it relates to innovation. In the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, Stephen Covey advises to begin with the end in mind. He's referring to proper planning and a clear idea of completed work. It's an excellent way to go about accomplishing a goal or completing a task. When you travel, you can't actually see your destination when you begin your journey. But if you head in the right direction, make the necessary course corrections, and just keep going, you can feel confident you'll get there. The principle works whether you're driving the family car on a vacation or tackling a big project at work. Unfortunately, some people are so frightened or confused by big projects that they have trouble beginning at all. It's too big a job. I'll never get it done on time, they say. Or even more often, they say, I just don't know where to begin. If you practice good, strong self-leadership, you'll recognize that the beginning of the project is wherever you say it is. Your first idea may not be a big part of the final product, but it is a start, and that's what you're searching for at a time when a big project looks so intimidating. In Sales Secrets from Your Customers, Barry J. Farber offers some good tips for getting started when you're stalled. Try the do one more principle, Farber writes. Whenever things start getting tough or an obstacle appears, there is one thing you can do that doesn't take any kind of special talent, and that is work a little bit harder, stay 1 extra hour, make 1 more phone call, write 1 more thank you note, do just 1 more activity than you think you can. Customers will sense that extra effort, and it will pay off in the end. If you need another incentive, use the 10-minute rule. Tell yourself that you will spend the next 10 minutes working on the project. If you can complete 10 minutes of work, your self-imposed rules will allow you to stop and move on to something else if you want. The energy lift you will feel by just getting started at all is amazing. In almost every case, you will continue working productively on the troublesome project for a far longer period, feeling better and better about your work as you go. Here are 5 steps that will help you get things done and done well. 1. Think. 2. Outline. 3. Draft. 4. Revise. And 5. Move ahead. First, think. The boss enters an office and finds an employee staring out the window. What are you doing? The boss asks. Just thinking, the employee replies. Well, cut it out and get back to work, the boss roars. We don't have time for that around here. It may be a high-tech world, but don't discount the old-fashioned methods. In his classic personal development audio cassette series, Lead the Field, the late Earl Nightingale recommended taking 1 hour a day, 5 days a week, to exercise the mind. You don't even have to do it on weekends, Nightingale said. Pick 1 hour a day that you can count on fairly regularly. The best time for me, he said, is an hour before the others are up in the morning. The mind is clear, the house is quiet, and, if you like, with a fresh cup of coffee, this is the time to start the mind going. A quiet house, a fresh cup of coffee. What a great setting to do some great thinking. You may have a different idea about time and location, but you do need to find that time and place where your mind can go to work without interruption. Break through the barrier that has caused thinking time to be labeled idle time. It's just the opposite. Find the time to think and record your ideas. You may discover that over the long term, you'll be more productive during that period than at any time during the day. Merrill E. Douglas and Donna N. Douglas, authors of Manage Your Time, Your Work, Yourself, remind us that much can be accomplished in short increments. Do not be overly concerned if you do not have much time each day to devote to your goals, they write. Even 15 minutes a day can make a tremendous difference in your life. In 15 minutes a day, you can learn a foreign language, trace your family history, learn to play a musical instrument, or read a good book. 15 minutes a day add up to over 90 hours each year. That's the equivalent of 2 full work weeks. Minutes do count. If you use them wisely, they can make a big difference in the quality of your life. That's especially true if you're using those minutes to do some high-quality thinking. More from Earl Nightingale. During this hour every day, take a completely blank sheet of paper. At the top of the page, write your present primary goal, clearly, simply. Then, since our future depends upon the way in which we handle our work, write down as many ideas as you can for improving that which you do now. Try to think of 20 possible ways in which the activity that fills your day can be improved. You won't always get 20, but even one idea is good. You're probably facing a situation right now, a project at work, a job search, a personal problem, in which you could use one good idea. Do you really think you'll come up completely empty if you set aside that regular time to think hard about the problem? Outline. Once the ideas begin to come, you'll need to organize them. The principle of breaking a big job down into several smaller ones has long been effective in fighting procrastination and a lack of productivity. Again, you don't need to have the final destination in sight. You just need to know you're moving in the right direction. Many people report feeling real physical relief after they've organized a project into smaller segments. Make an outline, just as you did in grade school, with major topics 1, 2, and 3, and subtopics A, B, C, and so on. With each division of tasks, the entire job will seem less intimidating. Set deadlines for completing each segment of the job. Draft. Get ideas down on paper or into a computer. You'll be more organized, and you'll feel much better about the entire project because your notes will be a tangible product of your work. Perfectionism often appears at some point in this process. How long will it take you to be perfect? How much time will you consume by trying to do perfect work? Do you think perfection is a realistic goal? Of course it isn't. Concentrate on doing your best work, not perfect work. If you've found time to think, you will arrive at your best work much quicker than if you agonize over work that is less than perfect. What if you're just not in the right frame of mind? Merrill and Donna Douglas have some excellent advice for beating a bad mood. There is usually some aspect of the task that will fit your current mood. You may not feel like papering the kitchen today, but you might at least be willing to select the wallpaper. Ask yourself, is there anything, no matter how small, that I am willing to do? Once you find something you're willing to do and do it, you're on the way to making your moods work for instead of against you. Keep a notepad or a recorder with you so that good ideas won't be lost. You can organize them at a later time, but the simple act of writing or recording them will let you know you are indeed at work. And as long as you are coming up with good ideas, you are in fact making good progress toward completion of the work. Revise. Now you're ready for some fine-tuning. You've already divided the entire project into smaller segments. Now just divide the segments. You'll find that many of the solutions have already occurred to you because you've been thinking. By this stage, you'll be looking at the details that will complete the job. This is also a good time to make sure that anyone else who has to be involved is up to date. For example, if you use an outside company to print a publication, all your efforts toward completing the copy won't do much good if you're not on the printer's calendar in time to meet your deadline. Move ahead. Break through your comfort zone and cut down cycle times. The San Diego Home Builders Association produced a video in which a house is constructed from start to finish in less than 3 hours. Yes, it is possible. It wouldn't be practical to build every house in 3 hours, but if it is possible under the right circumstances, do you think a 3-month project could be done in 2 months? Wouldn't an extra month be valuable to you and your company? Innovation and problem solving. Innovation is a continuous process, not a been there, done that event. Today's most innovative companies must continue their creative thinking, or they will be tomorrow's dinosaurs. Resting on today's successes is not an option. Consider these examples of limited thinking that led to obsolescence, and of companies that succeeded because they were able to think creatively in new areas. No stagecoach company ever became a major railroad. No buggy producer a major automaker. No railroad a major bus company. And no railroad or bus company a major aircraft company. Yet, if these companies had seen themselves as being in the transportation business rather than taking a more limited view, they would have been innovators. The most successful innkeeper in the world, Holiday Inn, was not started by experienced hotel people. Underwood didn't see IBM's electric typewriter as a serious competitive threat. Chrysler didn't react fast enough to the decline of the gas guzzler, and until recently, many other U.S. automakers suffered from the same problem. We can look at innovation as problem solving. Often, innovative individuals and organizations solve problems before the rest of the world even realizes such problems exist. While the problems or challenges that we face are becoming increasingly more sophisticated, the basic problem-solving process hasn't changed. The following step-by-step process is widely accepted in a variety of disciplines. 1. Problem sensing or problem awareness. We need to sharpen our abilities to sense problems as they begin to appear. Being sensitive to changing conditions can result in the detection of a problem before it gets out of hand. 2. Gathering the relevant data. Once a problem is sensed, take time to gather any data about the problem. 3. Defining the problem. All too often we tend to focus on the symptoms instead of the problem, simply because we don't take enough time to think about the ultimate cause. A good technique for arriving at the root problem is to define it initially and then ask, is this the real problem, or is there a deeper problem at work? When no deeper problem can be identified, then perhaps the main problem has been defined. 4. Listing alternative solutions. List as many possible solutions as you can. At this point, don't throw out the silly solutions, because they can often lead to better ones. This step and the previous one call for creative thinking, but unfortunately one or both steps are often skipped. 5. Selecting the best solution. The chances of finding a good solution to a problem are much better when adequate time has been spent on the first 4 steps. Overlooking or underestimating important steps often leads to the same old solutions, which never seem to work quite well enough. 6. Taking action. No matter how impressive the groundwork is, there is no benefit if no action is taken, unless it's one of those cases in which no action is actually the best solution. Once you've found the solution, employ it. Problems are the lifeblood of innovation. Find a problem, figure out how to solve it, and you are being innovative. Talk about getting things done. How to keep your meetings fit and trim. Here's a quick course on fitness. Not physical fitness, though that's vitally important. This segment is about the fitness of your meetings. Are they lean, mean, and productive, or a bloated, ineffective waste of time? Some time management experts have estimated that half the time spent in meetings is wasted. What's responsible for this wasted time? Participants who either ramble or completely withhold participation. Participants with hidden agendas, interruptions, unproductive conflicts, unsuitable physical arrangements. Leaders solve these problems before they start. Here are a few suggestions. 1. Ask, is the meeting necessary? Many meetings are simply not worth the time. The regular staff meeting that has always been held, and meetings held to spread the accountability for a decision, many times a minor one, very often waste everybody's time. If the answer to this question is no, you've saved some time, maybe a lot. 2. Plan the meeting. A meeting's purpose, with rare exceptions, should be defined clearly and communicated to participants in advance. This is best accomplished by an agenda. One technique is to put agenda items in question form. For example, instead of the agenda item, distribution of assignments on the Chicago proposal, try, what do you want to be responsible for on the Chicago proposal? 3. look closely at who should attend. Peter Drucker, in his book The Effective Executive, refers to one financial executive who routinely asked all his direct subordinates to every meeting because he feared that uninvited people would feel left out. He decided to cut attendance without slighting the status needs of his subordinates by using a printed form that lists those invited to the meeting, the place, the time, and topics to be discussed, followed by this message: please come if you think that you need the information or want to take part in the discussion, but you will in any event receive right away a full summary of the discussion and of any decisions reached, together with a request for your comments. Only those needed should attend a meeting. If input is needed from a participant on only one agenda item, that person should be asked to drop in only when this item comes up. Unnecessary attendance wastes everyone's time. The larger the group, the more irrelevant questions will be asked, often only for the sake of appearances. In any case, a great number of participants hinders direct communication and makes it more difficult to bring the meeting to closure. 4. Carefully consider the timing of the meeting. Obviously, it is unproductive to schedule a meeting at a time when key participants can't be available. It may be equally unproductive, however, to schedule the meeting at certain times of the day, even though all necessary persons can attend. For example, a meeting scheduled immediately after lunch often wanders because participants are often experiencing a lull in their energy level and because there is less time pressure to end the meeting before quitting time. Meetings scheduled an hour before lunch or an hour before quitting time are likely to end within a reasonable time. Participants concerned with getting away on time will be more inclined to stick to the main purpose of the meeting. 5. Consider the meeting's location and physical arrangements. The meeting should be conducted in a place that is comfortable and free of noise and distractions. Needed equipment should be readily available. If the meeting is for problem solving or brainstorming, a circular arrangement is usually more conducive to getting input from all present. If the leader is in a dominant position, such as at the head of a conference table, feedback or cross-communication may be discouraged. To encourage discussion, the leader should move from behind his or her desk or away from the head of the table. If a meeting is solely informational, the leader should place himself or herself in a dominant position, such as behind his or her desk. For sessions requiring the issuance of limited information, the leader should remain standing. A stand-up meeting keeps people from getting too comfortable or distracted, and it creates a sense of urgency. Consequently, the subjects at hand can be discussed quickly, energetically, and effectively. 6. Start the meeting on time and stick to a strict schedule. Starting meetings on time every time will quickly result in all participants being on time. When the starting time is not taken seriously, each successive meeting tends to get underway later and later. The participant who is trying to establish a position of importance by arriving late has to arrive later and later to be behind all the others. Each item on the agenda should also be timed. This encourages the leader or presenter to get to the point and finish on time. In rare cases, when an unanticipated twist comes up, the meeting leader can allow the discussion to run over the time limit. Setting time limits on each item, however, keeps everyone aware of the importance of each item and discourages irrelevant discussion or giving more time to a particular topic than it is worth. 7. Take charge during and after the meeting. Keep the meeting productive by redirecting off-the-track discussion, summarizing, testing for consensus, and heading off unproductive conflict or the addition of special interest items to the agenda. Discourage the practice of coming and going, except for invited presenters on specific points. Have messages and phone calls screened for later handling. End the meeting on time, unless an overrun is absolutely necessary. See that minutes are promptly prepared and distributed. Follow up to ensure that decisions made in the meeting result in specific assignments with deadlines for completion. When the above suggestions become regular practice, time is saved and meetings become more effective. Also, the morale of all participants is enhanced, which can have multiple benefits for the organization.